Adhara Srivasadi Kaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so I'm going to share. So we are reading a conversation between a police officer and Srila Prabhupada. So what was the main concern of the police officer? He wanted to know how we can reduce crime, how to reduce crime in the society. So that is the discussion we were having. And then Srila Prabhupada said that when one's heart gets cleansed and one's heart becomes purified, then automatically the desire to sin, the desire or the intentions to do bad things will go away. So that was the thing Srila Prabhupada was mentioning. And he has defined the definition of a crime. So crime is defined as taking more than what is allocated to us, allotted to us. So something which is rightfully not ours. So it is what is as crime. Like, and then Prabhupada says crime is happening because we lack education about God. And also Prabhupada said having faith is good, but we should also have proper education about God, like how powerful is God, how opulent is God, how he is spread all over this world, how he knows everything, how he doesn't need any external witnesses and all, and how he himself is a witness for all of us. So Prabhupada speaks about that. And then forgetting God is the biggest problem of this Kali Yuga. So we all know that there are 4 kinds of yugas, and Kali Yuga is the iron age in which we are. And then Srila Prabhupada mentions that the difference between man and animals is that man can follow religious principles, but animals cannot. So that is the difference between man and animals. Otherwise, remaining all things, every one of us do. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, all of us do. So you all can see my screen, right? Can you all see my screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, you all can see the screen, right? Okay. So difference between animal and human life is that God consciousness. Because the animals does not have God consciousness, but humans can develop that. And then peace. So what is the formula for peace? We have also discussed in our previous Bhagavad Gita class. What is the formula for peace? When we connect ourselves with Krishna, when we chant, when we read, when we hear about Supreme Lord, when we connect ourselves with God, we will be able to have a stable intelligence, and stable intelligence gives guides, and then we will have a stable mind. So when we have a stable mind, we will have peace. When we have peace, we will be happy automatically. So here Prabhupada is explaining the meaning of religion. The meaning of religion is that to abide by the laws of God. So we have to know who is God, we have to understand God, and also we have to know what are the laws of the God. So faith is not the real description of religion, but following the rules and regulations mentioned by God is the rules, is the religion. So then the police officer asks, like, what do you think about the situation in India right now? Do you think everybody in India are religious and there is no crime? Then Srila Prabhupada said, no. Even in India, there is a lot of crime. People there are also committing crime because of the leaders who themselves don't know what is right, what is wrong, and they are guiding these people. So if the leader does not know where to go, what to do, what is right, what is wrong, whoever follows him also gets misdirected. How to make life perfect? So that is what. And how to make our life perfect? We have to be Krishna consciousness, and we have to distribute Krishna consciousness. Then we will make our life perfect. Now from here we have to start. So who wants to read? I don't know if you all are raising hands. I don't see
You
any.
want to read?
Oh, Nihal. Okay, go ahead, Nihal. I saw you raising.
Yes, too much wealth is a block. All religious groups believe the same. Taha paratachestam vyavaskam buddhi samadhuna vidhayate. If one is material very opulent, he forgets God. Therefore, too much material wealth is a disqualification for understanding God. Therefore, there is no absolute law that a poor man can understand God. Generally, if one is extraordinarily rich, his only ambition is to acquire money, and this is difficult for him to understand spiritual teachings. Essence of all religious is the same. Whatever religious system one follows, they should try to understand God and love Him. All pros- proposition is whether you're a Christian, Muslim, Hindu, or Hindu, simply try to understand God and love Him.
Simply try to understand God and love Him. So, this is a question which the reporter asked. Is wealth a block to spiritual faith? So, does wealthy people believe in God? Do they have a spiritual faith? So, Srila Prabhupada is saying yes, too much wealth is a block. Why do you all think too much wealth is a block? What will the too much wealth do?
Mataji, can I answer?
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Wealth is a block to spiritual faith because you can like when you get too much materially opulence, then you could like you wouldn't like really call or ask for help from God, and then you'd eventually forget. So probably you'd get pride or arrogance, and then you'd feel like I have so much, so now I have no need to go ask the Lord, and then it becomes your habit, and then you forget.
Anyone else? Anyone else wants to say yes or no about too much wealth? So when we have too much wealth, you are kind of little powerful because you can give wealth and you can get things done, or whatever you want, you can buy. But is it that you can buy everything with wealth? With money, can you buy everything?
No.
So only to certain extent you will get whatever you want with wealth. But in the meantime, unless you find a blockage where you realize that your wealth cannot bring you everything, until then you will be thinking that you are very powerful. Because if you are a CEO, or if you own a company, you will see many people working under you. You will have so many people helping you as helpers in your house. So there is so many things that happen automatically for you without asking. And whatever you want you can buy, whatever you want you can do. So many things you keep doing, then you will kind of become very proud, and you think that you yourself is God, because everything I need is happening to me, everything is going good for me. So too much wealth actually becomes an obstacle for inquiring about God, or even realizing that there will be somebody like a God, and we have to have faith. So, not only in Hinduism, in all the religions like Christianity, Muslims, all of them have this belief that too much wealth, too much opulence is going to be a blockage for you to have spiritual faith. Does that mean that all the poor people have spiritual faith? Does that mean that all the poor people will be devotees of God? And or can we say that the devotees of the God are always poor?
No.
No. Even the poor people, they may not have faith on God. They may be not knowing God also, but they are poor. So wealth, to some extent, causes as a blockage to have spiritual faith. So that's what Prabhupada says. Because when you are wealthy, when you don't have any need, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that 4 kinds of people come to him. The first kind of a people is somebody who is in need of something, somebody who needs wealth. That means he is already poor, so he needs some wealth. And somebody who is in any trouble, like he could not solve the problem. So he's in a big trouble and he needs protection. Then he will go to Krishna. And somebody who wants to know about Krishna, inquire about Krishna, and the other is like they are just curious about God. So what is that sloka? Krishna says in 7th chapter. Does any one of you remember? Ardho Jignasya, that sloka, any one of you remember? Four kind of people come to me. Is it in the 7th chapter or 9th chapter where Krishna says that? Okay, you all still have to go to that stage, right? So I guess it is in the 9th chapter where Krishna says 4 kinds of people comes to me.
Mataji, is it Ajopi Sanavayatma?
No, it's not that. I'm bringing out that verse.
Oh, is it the 7th chapter and the 16th verse?
Yeah, 7th chapter, right? 7th chapter, 16th verse, right?
Yes.
Yeah. 7th chapter, 16th verse, where Krishna says, Ardho, there are 4 Chaturvida Bhajante Mam, right? He says that in 7th chapter of 7.16. Krishna says that there are 4 kinds of people who come. And he also says there are 4 kinds of people who never comes to me. He says that also, right? 4 kinds of pious men began to render devotional service unto me. The distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for the knowledge of the absolute truth. So these are the 4 people who come in search of Krishna. Krishna also says in 17.17, there are 4 people who will never come to me. So these 4 people who always comes to Krishna are Chaturvida Bhajante Mam, Jana, Sukritino, Arjuna. So all these 4 people are pious people. And they are, as I said, like who is in need of some protection, in need of some wealth, or who is inquisitive about Lord, or who wants to know about the supreme absolute truth. So all these 4 people, Gnanis, and then Tattvadarshinis. That means who wants to know about the God. So these are the 4 kinds of people who go to Krishna. So Krishna here is saying, so wealth becomes an obstacle because Krishna also says in 2nd chapter, Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam, Bhoga and Aishwarya. If you are too much attached to enjoying and too much attached to the wealth that you have, then it is very difficult for you to engage in me. Vasayatmika buddhi samadhau na vidiyate. If one is materially very opulent, he forgets God. So that's what Krishna is saying. So too much material things will be a disqualification to understand God. So we don't need to worry when we don't have too much wealth. As long as we have whatever is needed, then we should be very, very happy, because how much ever we have, we can't be using them all at one time. When you need something, if you have, then you should be very, very happy. So this is the essence of all religions also. Someone else who wants to read next? I think Joshna, you wanted to read, right?
Yes.
Mataji can.
Yeah, Mihika, you can go after Joshna.
Yeah, can I go? Yes.
Okay. What advice to reduce crime? Return to God, practice religious principles, chant holy names of Lord, and distribute prasada. Srila Prabhupada. I asked them to sit down and chant the Hare Krishna mantra, and afterward I distributed a little prasada. If this is done on a mass scale, the entire society will become very pleasant. This is a fact. No distinctions, any place easily available to all kinds of men. Sankirtana. There is no restriction that only the poor men need the benefit of the rich, but the rich do not. Everyone needs to be purified. Srila Prabhupada. Do you think criminality exists only in poorer section of society?
So what is the advice Srila Prabhupada gave to reduce the crime? Return to God. Practice religious principles. So religious principles are the principles given by God. So go look towards God and practice the rules and regulations given by God. And to practice those rules and regulations, you need a lot of spiritual strength, because to at any point of time, to do good things, you need a lot of courage initially. When you do that good thing, that will last for a longer time. You may be very hesitant in the beginning to do that, because your heart may be saying, don't study, let's go and play, let's cheat my parents, let's do this, let's do that, let me enjoy, let me not study. But to do the right thing of studying, you have to silence so many requests that your mind is giving, and then study. When you study, when you focus, when you get there, at the end, you will be the benefiter. You will be the beneficiary. You will get benefit. If you don't listen to that, and if you're engaging yourself in whatever the mind is suggesting, at the end, you will be a loser, because you wasted a valuable time as a student to study. So to practice the religious principles, to practice what we are supposed to do, we require a lot of spiritual strength. And that spiritual strength we get from chanting the holy names of the Lord, and by eating prasadam. And by distributing prasadam, what we are going to do is, we are going to help others also not to do crime. So for us not to do crime also, the thing is, we have to practice the rules and regulations, and we have to get the strength to practice the rules and regulations from the holy names that we are chanting, and by distributing, by eating prasadam. And to help others, we have to arrange programs in such a way that they all can come together, chant and eat prasadam. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, I'm not doing big things. I'm just asking all of them to come and sit down and chant. So if you all ever get time, if you read the autobiography of Srila Prabhupada, you will be very surprised that at that point of time, there are so many hippies, like who are drunk, taking drugs and all. So, but they all came, and Srila Prabhupada invited all of them to chant and to eat prasadam. And slowly, over the period of time, all of them became great devotees. They left all the bad qualities they have. They started following all the rules and regulations. So Srila Prabhupada did not do any magic. What he did was, he asked them to chant and eat prasadam. So all of us should have faith in that. If we have any bad thing, let's say if you may be having a bad quality that your parents or your teachers are saying that you need to correct, so then you should chant more. If we chant more and if we eat prasadam more, that bad thing goes away from us. So the bad thing is very attractive in the beginning, because it tells us that, oh, you can be happy by doing this. But the bad thing, which is nectar in the beginning, becomes poison in the end. But the good thing appears like poison in the beginning, but it ends up in nectar. So that's why we have to choose the good things to do. And for that, we just have to chant Hare Krishna and eat prasadam. That simple it is. So Srila Prabhupada was saying, I didn't do big things. I just invited all of them to the programs, and I asked them all to chant, and I distributed prasadam to them. He alone used to cook for many people. And then this police officer asked Srila Prabhupada, so Srila Prabhupada, do you think we should arrange this mostly in the places where there are more poor people than the rich people? Because then Srila Prabhupada will ask that police officer, do you think all the bad people are poor and all the wealthy people are good? So there is no crime done by the wealthy people? So what do you all think? Are there any crimes done by the wealthy people?
Yes.
Yes? Joshna, Onkar, what do you all think? Even the rich people do crimes. And then, so Srila Prabhupada said, there should not be any distinction that somebody is rich or poor. And so we should put in a place where everybody can come, because everyone needs to be purified. So rich or poor is not the criteria for chanting the holy name. So you may be wondering like, oh, I'm so rich, I don't need anything, so I don't need to chant. Oh, people are so devoted to Krishna, they go to temple because they need something. No, it's not like that. We all have one flaw for which we all have to chant and eat prasadam. So Srila Prabhupada here is saying that there is no restriction that only the poor men need the benefit, but the rich do not. So everyone should be purified and everyone needs to chant, eat prasadam, practice religious principles and return to God. So who wants to read next? Mihika, go ahead. Mihika?
Okay, Mataji. Spiritually diseased person. Our treatment is for the spiritually diseased person. When a person is afflicted with a disease, there are no distinctions between a poor man and a rich man. They are both admitted to the same hospital, just as the hospital should be in a place where both the poor and the rich man can easily come. The location of the Sankirtana facility should be easily accessible to all. Since everyone is materially infected, everyone should be able to take advantage.
Disease. What is the disease we all have? We are all materially infected. So we lack spirituality. So that is the disease we have. Whether we are rich or poor, we lack spirituality. So Srila Prabhupada is saying here that we should do Sankirtan, Harinam, chanting of holy names and distributing prasadam in a location where everybody can access, because all of us have a common disease, that is we are materially infected. What it means materially infected means, what do you all understand when it says that we are all materially infected means? Anyone? There is no right answer, wrong answer. Just explain whatever you understand, and then if that is not what it is, we can correct.
Maybe this is Jyotsna. I think maybe it means like being like doing bad things like materially.
What is that?
Doing bad things that are material.
Okay. Omkar, go ahead.
I think it means like you're engaged in doing material activities and don't spend enough time chanting the Hare Krishna mantra.
Kind of. Anyone else? Whatever you and Jyotsna mentioned are actually symptoms of this disease. But what actually is the disease?
That we don't remember God.
That is also, yeah, correct. All answers are correct. Omkar, Jyotsna, all answers are correct. Go deeper, further. Why we don't remember God? Think.
Because we are contaminated
By what?
by material desires and the three modes of material nature.
Why we are contaminated by material desires and material modes? Think deeper. What is the first thing that we should know when we are saying that we are going to spiritual classes?
We're going to learn and retain, like learn how to retain our relationship with Krishna.
That is okay. More? Think more, brainstorm more, contemplate more. We are all materially infected. That is true. We are infected by material desires. We want to fulfill the desires. And in that process, we do wrong things, as Jyotsna said, and as Omkar said. But why do we do those things? Omkar, go ahead.
Because we think we don't need Krishna.
Okay, we forget Krishna. So we think we don't need Krishna. But basically, we think that we are this body. We forget that we are spiritual souls. And we don't belong. We are not this body. We are more powerful than this body, actually. Because we think that we are this body. Whatever the material desires we have are pertaining to our body. Do we have material desires like Jyotsna will not pray that Omkar should enjoy, Mihika should enjoy. We will pray that I should enjoy, right? I should not have diseases. I need to have a lot of money. I want to go to Disneyland. So we will be We desire, we will have so many material, we have so many material desires because we think we are this body. We don't remember that we are soul. We think that we are body. So that's why we are infected, conditioned, contaminated. Contamination means because we are thinking we are body, we are trying to enjoy body, and we are trying to enjoy all the material things around. So that is the materially, spiritually disease, lack spiritual vision. We lack the spiritual vision that we are spiritual beings. Living entities are spiritual. Living entities are not material, and we are living entities. We are the souls. We are not the bodies. We have been trapped into these bodies, and we started thinking that I am this body. And then we are trying to make this body a happy place for ourselves. Actually, we are trapped into this body. So that is what is spiritually diseased means. Okay? Okay, who wants to read next? Onkar, go ahead, and then Manhar.
Okay, Mataji. The difficulty is that the rich man thinks he's perfectly healthy, although he's the most diseased of all. But as a policeman, you well know that there's criminality among rich men and poor men alike. So our chanting process is for everyone because it's clean. It's because it cleanses the heart, regardless of the man's opulence or poverty. The only way to permanently change the criminal habit is to change the heart of the criminal. As you well know, many thieves are arrested numerous times and put into jail. Although they know that if they commit theft, they will go to jail, still they are forced to steal because of their unclean hearts. Therefore, without cleansing the heart of the criminal, you cannot stop crime simply by more stringent law enforcement. The thief and the murderer already know the law, yet they still commit violent crimes due to their unclean hearts. So our process is to cleanse the heart. Then all the troubles of this material world will be solved.
Very good. So which one is more better? Changing the heart of the person or enforcing stringent laws? So that is the question the police officer has. And Prabhupada is saying that changing the heart of the person is more better because we remove the intention, the propensity of doing sin. If we are punishing for the sin they have done, after they complete their punishment, they'll go outside, they'll come outside of the jail and they will again do the sin. So there are so many people who do repeatedly the same crime. If he is a thief, he will steal, and then he will steal until he gets caught. And when he gets caught, he'll go into the jail. He will be there for some time, and then he'll come outside, and again he will steal because his heart is still impure. His heart is not clean. So same with us also. Sometimes maybe like, our parents might be saying us, don't do this, don't do this. Well, but we'll be keep on doing. And when they give us time out or punishment, we will take that. And then again, we forget that. We forget and then we do again the same mistake next time. So unless our heart is cleaned, we sit down and understand that we are repeating the same mistake and that is not good for us, and we clean and we decide from heart that I'm not going to do it again, then only we will stop. So Prabhupada here is saying is that the problem with the rich people is they don't find any need for chanting. They don't find any, they don't even agree that they are diseased. They think that they are very good, healthy. So that's why it's very difficult for the rich people to chant. But the chanting process is for everyone. There is no different process for rich people or poor people or like thin people or fat people like that. There is nothing like that. It is the same thing, regardless of man, opulent or poverty, chanting works. And what does chanting do? Chanting changes the heart of the criminal in such a way that they lose the desire for sin. Whereas the stringent law enforcement just puts them in jail and kind of restricts them from doing the crime for some time. Because they are now in jail, they cannot go out freely and steal. But once they are out of the jail, they'll go again and steal. So the thief and murderer already know the law, as they still commit violent crimes due to their unclean hearts. So when at any point of time, if you are falling into trouble for the same bad thing that you are doing, that you may be doing, or I may be doing, what we should do? We should pray to Krishna. We should chant more and ask Krishna that there's something which I have. This one thing that I have in my heart is a very bad thing, Krishna. I don't want to repeat, but somehow or the other, I get forced, I get tempted to do this bad thing. So can you help me clean for my own good? So when we chant like that, Krishna will help us to purify that. Then all the troubles, when everybody has a pure heart, that is the beginning of this whole discussion, right? When every one of us have a pure heart like this, then none of us will do any kind of bad things, and this place will be free of crime. So that is what here Prabhupada is saying. So the next slide, Manhar, go ahead.
Okay, Mataji. Is it difficult to clean heart? It is not difficult. Simply invite everyone. Come, chant Hare Krishna, dance, and take some Tusa's prasadam. What is the difficulty? We are already doing this at our centers on a small scale. If the government would give us a large facility, however, we could expand unlimitedly. Why crime? Because people are godless, and what to do? Chant Hare Krishna and take prasad. If you like, you can adopt this process of Sankirtan. Otherwise, we will continue conducting it on a small scale. We are just like a poor medical man with a small private practice who could open a big hospital if he were given the facility. The government is the executor. If they take our advice and adopt the process of Sankirtan, then the problem of crime will be solved.
Thank you, Manhar. So the police officer got a doubt. Is it not difficult to clean the heart of a person? I find it so difficult. How can we clean the heart of a person? It's difficult to change the heart of a person. If you all have noticed that, even for you, it's very difficult for you to focus your mind on studies, not to get angry, not to scream and shout. Sometimes it's become very difficult for us not to do the bad things. For doing good things, we need lot of strength. So Srila Prabhupada, he's asking Srila Prabhupada, is it not difficult to change the heart of a person? It's easy to punish. If we know that somebody is doing wrong, it's very easy to go and take him and give him punishment. What is the purpose of punishment? What is the purpose of punishment? Can anyone tell me what is the purpose of punishment?
So they don't do it again.
One after the other. Go ahead.
Can I go, Mataji?
Okay, go ahead.
So the reason that we have punishments is that so we can learn from them and then we don't repeat the same mistake.
Okay, very good. Manhar?
Minus that so they don't do it again.
So that during the punishment time, during the timeout time, or during the time when your parents are scolding you or telling you this is right, this is wrong, like that. So when they are doing that, it's a time for us to do self analysis, that why I am doing this, what is that is causing me, this is a wrong thing, and why I keep doing the wrong thing. So it's a time for us to clean the heart. Actually, it's the time for us to change our heart, but it's not happening. People are just taking the punishment and repeating the crime again. That means they don't have the strength to change their heart. And from where do we get that strength? By simply chanting Hare Krishna and taking prasada. So at any point of your life, you all may be great devotee kids, because I see that all of you know a lot of philosophy, which I don't know at your age. Maybe all of you are just in your teenage, and some of you may not be in your teenage also, and you know so many things right now. See, knowing is only half of it. See, I know that there is a zebra crossing on the road, and I have to press the button before crossing the road, and then I have to cross the road when it is walking man, green walking man signal, I have to cross the road. And when there is a stop red sign, I should not cross the road. So my parents has taught me that. I know that. But when I will be benefited if when I use it when I'm crossing the road. If I don't use it when I'm crossing the road, and I ignore the instructions that I have heard from my parents, and I just randomly cross the road, the chances of me getting hit by a car are more. But when I follow the rules, that means when I implement what I have heard, then the chances of me getting into an accident are very, very minimum, maybe 1%. So knowing is only 50%. Implementing what we have learned is the key part, and that's where we get the benefit of it. So Srila Prabhupada is saying it is not difficult if we think. We get the strength to implement what we have learned through chanting the Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna, dance, take prasadam. So at any point of your life, don't ever leave chanting the holy name or eating prasadam. So these two things you all should never leave. We all should never leave. Not only kids, every one of us should not leave these two things, whatsoever may be our condition in this world. We may be super busy. I may become a president of USA and I don't have time to go and distribute books. I may don't have time to go and give sessions. But one thing I should never leave is eating prasadam and chanting Hare Krishna. So why we do crime? Because people are godless. They don't remember God. As Omkar was saying earlier, we don't remember God. That's why. So to make us remember God, we have to chant Hare Krishna and take prasada. So this is the only thing that we have to do. So whenever you all become big, or whenever you see anybody, so you may be seeing homeless people, you may be seeing so many, when you go back to India, you may be seeing beggars and all, you may feeling very compassionate towards them and you want to donate something to them. So when you are donating the material things like clothes, food, money, you also tell them to chant Hare Krishna. Just tell them that chant this mantra. That is going to help them. That is going to benefit them. And if possible, give them prasad. So that is going to give a bigger benefit than just the money that we give them. So that is a good, best charity that we can do. So then they will at least become God conscious. When they become God conscious, whatever the sins they have done in their previous lives will go away and they may get a better life. Next slide. Okay, who is next? Who wants to read next? I think all of you got a turn, right? Manhar, Omkar, Joshna. Joshna, did you read?
Yeah, Mataji, you want me to read again?
Yeah, you can go. We have
Okay.
4 minutes time. So
Why Christian organization not cleansing the heart? To speak frankly, I find it difficult to find even one real Christian. The so-called Christians do not abide by the Bible's order. One of the 10 commandments in the Bible is "Thou shalt not kill." But where is that Christian who does not kill by eating the flesh of the cow? The process of chanting the Lord's holy name and distributing prasada will be effective if carried out by persons who are actually practicing religion. My disciples are training to strictly follow religious principles, and therefore their chanting of the holy name of God is different from others. Theirs is not simply a rubber stamp position. They have realized the purifying power of the holy name through practice.
So the police officer asked Srila Prabhupada, why then the Christian organizations are not cleaning the hearts? They also say that they will do that. Why it is not happening? Mostly because many of them are not following the instructions given in the Bible. Like even if we don't follow the instructions given by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita and go and preach, that won't be effective. We have to practice first. So Srila Prabhupada was saying, my disciples are trained to strictly follow religious principle. So we have to follow and then we have to preach. When we follow and preach, then that helps us to clean the hearts of the people. If we are just saying but not following, that is no use. So we get the power to change the heart of the people. We get the power to purify the hearts of the people when we follow and give an instruction. If I'm giving an instruction telling that you should not be telling lies, and then you really like me so much, and you will think that, oh, I'm not going to tell lies from today onwards, because Mataji will be very happy if she knows that I'm not telling lies and I'm following her instruction. But at some point, someday, you saw me telling lies, then all your faith, you will be doubted. Like, you will start doubting, oh, I am thinking so much of her, and then she's not following what she's telling me in the class. So my teachings will not have power if I'm not following. Similarly, when we are telling others to chant Harinam, we need to chant first, then we can tell. So if I give you gulab jamun and I tell you, go and distribute, go and sell this gulab jamun, then you'll go and stand and you'll start selling. Then the person will come and ask, how does it taste? I don't know. People say it tastes sweet. Do you all think that the person will buy? Will that
No.
person buy?
No.
Why? Because you didn't practice, you didn't taste it, so you cannot say it confidently, right? So if you tasted the gulab jamun, then you will explain how the gulab jamun looks, what is the texture of it, whether it is sticky or not, whether it is dry or not. So you will be able to give more your personal realization to that person, and that kind of buys that person's trust. Oh, he is following actually. So he is actually using what he is selling. So, and he's looking good to me, and he's so nice, he's so well mannered, he knows all the things, so I can also use. So when you are happy chanting, and when you distribute others, you will become happy by chanting when you sincerely chant. And when you go and distribute that, people seeing you will have faith in the instructions that you give, and then they start practicing. So I will take one more person. Anybody wants to read this one?
And Mihika?
Go ahead.
Danger of not following. That possibility is always there, but all I am saying is that if you are not a true Christian, then your preaching will not be effective. And because we are strictly following religious principles, our preaching will be effective in spreading God consciousness and alleviating the problem of crime. It is always their danger of not following.
So then the person asked, so do you think that in ISKCON everybody follows? You said that all your disciples are following the regulative principles and distribution. Then Srila Prabhupada is saying, no, there is always a danger that there are certain portion of people, certain set of people who may not be following. But because we are strictly following, but he is saying, because now they are strictly following, when we strictly follow, then our preaching will be effective in spreading God consciousness and removing the problem of crime. So there is always a danger of not following. So when we don't follow, our teachings or our preachings or our efforts will not have that much effective as when we practice and preach. So this is a discussion. Here ends the discussion between the police officer and Srila Prabhupada on how can we reduce the crime. So I would like to hear from all of you now. One take home from this conversation or something that you have learned today. You want to go ahead? Okay, Joshna, go ahead.
I learned today that it doesn't really matter whether you're rich or poor. Either way, both type of people, they do commit some sort of crime to a certain extent.
Yes. Manha?
So I learned that like without an impure heart, like if a person even goes to jail but after doing a crime, then he'll escape and then do the crime again. He'll keep doing that, and then until the heart is cleansed.
Very good. Mihika?
So Mataji, my take home is that basically that the chanting of the holy name, it's not like restricted that this religion or this particular religion or age you can only chant, but you can chant in any age or any religion and anywhere you want.
Very good. Omkar?
So I learned that if
if you like go somewhere and then you see like a beggar on the side, you would want to give them something, like material things, but you can also say like chant the Hare Krishna mantra, or give and give prasadam to them if you can. Like that can be really effective, and then they can get a better life next time.
Wonderful. Yes, that is something that we have to do. Whenever we are helping someone materially, we should also give them Harinam. Tell them about Krishna. Give them the holy name so that they themselves can make their next life better. Because all of us can make our lives better by chanting. If I chant, I can only do a favor to all of you only up to some extent by praying for you. But if you chant for yourself, then you can do a lot of favor. You can do so much good for you. So the material things that I'm giving to the people who are homeless or beggars can last only for some time. It will not last forever. After some time, it will not be useful for them. So, but if you give them Harinam, and if you give them prasadam, that is going to help to pure their heart. And once we have that pure heart, we will become pious, and then we will get better lives, and we may go back to Krishna. Wonderful. All of you have summarized so nicely. I don't think we missed anything. And one thing I want to add to Joshna's point, that rich or poor will do crime. Rich or poor, all of us are materially infected. That means we all have a common disease. That is, we forget that we are spiritual beings. So that disease we have. So Harinam should be given to everybody. So thank you all so much. May Krishna bless all of us, all of you and me with his causeless mercy, and keep chanting and eating prasadam. So whenever you are, keep chanting. Wherever you are, keep chanting and try to eat prasadam. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Mataji, Hare